Hello, good morning to everyone. So let's have our daily briefing for today. And just a quick market recap on last Friday's data. Okay, so first things, we have the retail sales for UK yearly basis for the month of July. So the previous data was 9.2% and forecasted at 6%. And for the actual data, it did not beat the market forecast at 2.4%. And we also have the retail sales monthly basis for July as well. So the previous data was 0.2% and forecasted at 0.4%. And the actual data did not beat the market forecast at negative 2.5%. And you also have the producer's price index for Germany, monthly basis for July as well. So the previous data was 1.3% and forecasted at 0.8%. And for the actual data, beats the market forecast at 1.9%. And we also have the PPI data for Germany yearly basis for the month of July. So the previous data was 8.5% and forecasted at 9.2%. And for the actual data, it was 10.4%. And we also have retail sales for Canada, monthly basis for the month of June. So the previous data is negative 2.1%, and the forecast was 4.4%. And the actual data was slightly lower than the forecast at 4.2%. So overall, the data for Canada, Eurozone, and UK did not create any significant news or significant move on the market due to the strong sentiment for the dollar last week. But for today's economic data, during the European session, 3:30, we have manufacturing PMI and services PMI for Germany at 3:30 p.m. And 4 p.m. we have manufacturing PMI and services PMI for Eurozone, and followed by UK data around 4:30 p.m. And for the US session, we also have the manufacturing PMI and services PMI for US at 9:45 p.m. and followed by US existing home sales monthly basis for July later at 10 p.m. And for this week's US or European shares, for today we have JD.com or the JD stock, and on Thursday we have the HP Incorp, HPQ for our product. And right here, the revenue for the JD.com last May 19, they recorded 203.18 billion, which is higher than the forecast, around 191.92. And the EPS or the earnings per share, it was higher as well, comparing the forecast at 2.29. So the EPS was 2.47. But for today, the revenue is forecasted at 248.59 billion, which is higher than the previous one. And also the EPS at 2.69. And right here on the 1 hour chart, we have a strong trend line right here on the JD.com around the 74 level. And if we're going to look on the weekly support and resistance level, in my opinion, this right here is a good area of resistance since it's supported by the trend line right here at 72.40. But for this week support for the JD.com, we can look for 68 and 66.50. And right here, the notable area of resistance at 72.40. And for resistance above the 72.40 was 75.15. And also we have the HP Inc. or HPQ for the stock name. So the previous revenue last May 27, it was 15.88 billion. So it beats the market forecast, and also the EPS at 0.93. But for Thursday, the revenue is forecasted at 15.87 billion, which is lower than the previous one, and also the EPS at 0.8376. So right here, obviously the structure for the HP did not created a move right here, but rather it broke our trend line below right here at 29.50. And as of this moment, the HP structure is currently on our support resistance below the 28, and it's approaching our second resistance 28.50. But in my opinion, same goes with the JD.com. This right here is a good resistance level since it's already supported by our previous trend line at 30. But for this week's support, we can look for 28.50 and 28, and resistance notable is 30, and psychological level is also 31. Again, for today, during the European session, we have manufacturing PMI and services PMI for Germany, Eurozone, and UK. And for the US session, manufacturing PMI and services PMI for US, followed by the existing home sales. All right, so for this week, we have to pay attention for the speech for Fed Chairman Jerome Powell this Friday, August 27, at the Jackson Hole Conference or the Jackson Hole Symposium. So this Jackson Hole conference, this is why the US dollar created a noise the last week. So a lot of currencies were affected, and I already explained what happened on the tapering issue or tapering news for the US last week. So in line with this conference, Jerome Powell will discuss the central bank's tapering on its massive asset purchase program. So this one will matter for all of us traders actually, because it will definitely drive the direction of the US dollar. So for this week, if all of you guys are trading currencies that is paired by the dollar, you have to put proper risk management and be cautious as well. All right, so thank you everyone for joining our daily briefing today. Please stay safe and have a great day.